be a blue Christmas without her. A blue Christmas something something. Mocha. I went to Memphis in 1993 during Elvis' death week. My girlfriend Ruth and I toured Graceland, two ironic artist types sandwiched between ironic Japanese kids, earnest middle-aged folks, and earnest Japanese kids. We saw Elvis' gun on display, presumably the one he used to shoot the shit out of his TV sets before retiring to the jungle room for wild sex and or amphetamines, or both. I'd have never thought anyone would have actually had the gall to steal the King's peace, particularly not on the 30th anniversary of his 1977 death. I remember the day Elvis died. A neighbor girl came into her apartment crying her eyes out. She was a few years my senior. I was 6.5, and she was probably 10, all tarted up and listening to Rod Stewart and Elvis all the time. It was the first time I'd seen a person cry over a death, and I didn't think I really understood why it was such a big deal. Mama had raised me on classical music and show tunes, so I didn't really hear much of Elvis until I was about 20. Star Wars premiered in May of 1977, but I didn't get around to it until late August. It ran a whole damned year, so it wasn't like now, where you've got about a 2-month window before it's on cable, DVD, and iTunes, and about 2 minutes before the torrents get hold of it. We went for Buzzy Minnick's birthday. Elvis was dead, and I was watching Star Wars. Buzz leaned over to me and said, early on in the movie, they meet a Wookiee in a bar. I imagined a metal pole standing in the middle of the desert, a bike rack for aliens. I was almost 7 and hadn't started drinking yet, so the word bar didn't quite have the same iconic frisson it would later in life. As a digression, I feel it important to mention that on another outing with Buzzy to Cherokee Park in Louisville, Kentucky, we were told by his mom that some of the older kids were off in the weeds smoking pot. I imagined a massive iron stew pot filled with smoldering leaves, kids gathered around it ritualistically. My mother smoked pot daily, but I didn't really get the context. I went a second time to see Star Wars with my mom. We did that for the second and third movies. We'd go separate, then together. She's about to turn 60. Oh, pardon me. She's about to turn 60. She never liked Elvis. Raised me on classical music and show tunes, like I said. My first record albums were double vinyl sets, Fiddler on the Roof and Star Wars. My first pop music didn't come until 1982, The Best of Queen on cassette. The lyric from Bicycle Race, I don't like Star Wars, seemed heretical and coolly edgy to my 11-year-old ears listening to my first tape. By 1983, I was growing pretty weary of the Star Wars thing. I did go to see Return of the Jedi with some enthusiasm, getting the day off school to see the premiere. By the song at the end with the Ewoks, I was pretty much done with the whole damn thing. I started listening to early hip-hop and rap on the black station, WLOUAM. MTV had been working me over too. I went through a top 40 phase that lasted about 6 months. I guess it does rain down in Africa, thank you very much. I stuck with black music mostly until the summer of 1985 when I heard my first college radio station in Detroit while staying with Uncle Charles and well, anyway, whatever her name was, I was staying with him.